AllReasonNoLogic.
Welcome back to All Reason No Logic. I'm Bruticus and I'm here with Tank Tom, and we're going to cast an 8v8 on planes and passes. Sorry about that. As you can see, there is a fair bit of flat ground, fair bit of reclaim, and also some hills in the middle. And there is 4 geos across the map. Mexes are a mix of 2.5 and 1.8s, and the starting locations there 1.8. Top rated player for blue team is MVP Pete, and for red Dot.
It's an interesting map. I can't remember us playing on this one recently. I do like how there's the mix between the kind of flat plains around the outside, which I imagine are much more vehicle suited, and the tight confines through the middle. We can see the first units are coming out from that light blue player through the middle. What's that? I'm guessing ticks based on the speed.
Yeah, so commanders would send out 5 ticks by the looks of that. Should be interesting to see that quick raid.
Lots of metal in the middle of this map for reclaim. For whoever can claim that and make the most of it.
Yeah, nice pockets of around 100 to 250-ish.
Yeah, and we can see a couple of those res bots coming out from both sides. I don't know if we call that Peach on the left side that's just lost his res bot to a tick.
Oh, yep. Yeah, peach, cream, something like that. But anyway, all we know is he's getting messed up by ticks at the moment.
Yeah, and it's rough when you get hit this early when you don't have any defenses at all. When it's just your commander and you haven't had any units. I find I'll often base the decision on whether you go early constructor or early units on how long it takes for things to arrive. And see, we've got some engagements happening in the middle there. Those res bots having a hard time.
No, definitely ticks doing their work cleaning up those res bots early, denying reclaim and hopefully securing it for their own team.
Yeah,
excuse me.
And it looks to be that the red team at this stage is probably winning that reclaim war in the middle there. We've got a couple of res bots that they've been able to keep alive and protected, and it's nice to see them trying to get that kind of riskier metal early. I'm not necessarily against losing the res bot to deny that reclaim to the other side, and then you can always fall back and...
for itself, it's always better.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a pink coming through on this bottom side here. Looks like they're going to do some...
Oh, yep.
They'll get a bit done, but not nearly as much because they've got those units coming out there from that light blue player.
Looks like dark green's got some grunts moving to intercept as well.
Yeah, so you can definitely see that the battle lines are starting to get drawn on both sides. Plenty of fighting going on in the middle. Yellow's got his commander, Yellow and I'll call it Maroon. They've got their commanders coming out into the middle to try and help reinforce those sections.
Well, the only ones really moving out are on the outer edges on the blue team, with a couple of still sitting in bases. Blue's definitely doing some aggression right in that centre there. He's trapped between 2 commanders with a couple of pawns around though.
Yeah, economy-wise, we can see that both teams are fairly even. It's bouncing around a bit depending on who's reclaiming what at the time. Blue's definitely got the energy advantage. And can I say metal's even at this stage because it keeps bouncing around. Good to see some...
Difficult to gauge at the moment. If you have a look at the bottom map, there is a fair bit of ticks building up though from orange as well, so it looks like he might be setting up for a decent raid in a minute.
Some D guns coming out in the middle there from that maroon player. When you get these many players, you end up with quite a few shades of similar. Ooh. We've got 2 commanders fighting in the middle here, red and the light blue. Looks like red should
Mhm.
have it with the surround bonus coming up.
Yep.
Some nice D guns there,
Yeah.
though.
Mm.
But that
With
is
the
a
com
dead
there and
com.
with the com there and he's reinforcing grunts, he'll have that reclaim pretty easy for the moment. Although
Com-
blue is moving in down south towards him.
Yeah, we can see them. Red getting that reclaim off the commander. And I don't think he's going to be able to survive there too much longer. His commander's relatively low on with the units coming in from both sides. And he's got and a lack of energy. He's not going to be able to D-gun. So plenty happening down this bottom side. Some skirmishes going on through the middle. Those ticks pushing on through the middle there. Keeping that commander alive for now. Lots of metal there to be reclaimed.
No, it was a good move by Dot. I just watched him D-gun the rest of that wreck, so he's denied it instead of leaving it there. So it's definitely a good move.
And we can see that those ticks are now pushing in, seeing what they can find. They're only going to get AMAX by the look of it. And getting cleaned up by those it's like one.
Grunts and maces.
Maces. I'm gonna say Centurions, but that didn't quite feel right.
The Centurion's little brother.
Yeah. It's good to see that the commanders have all pushed out, or a lot of the commanders have pushed out onto these front lines. At this stage of the game, the commanders are still one of your strongest offensive
You want to
units.
jump up to Commander Zod's commander, the
yeah, that is a
blue
long
player.
way forward
Yes.
to have your commander at
And
this
he's
stage of the game.
dancing. It looks like he's picked off quite a few kills there just looking at the wrecks that are lying around with that com. So he's doing
Yeah.
some good work with that at the moment. Nice D-gun there.
And good evasion from those rocket bots as well.
Yeah, just over 7 minutes into the game and he's, sitting on the front door of an enemy player with his com, basically solo.
I can see some units coming in from that Maroon player. So the surround looks to be... I was going to say looks to be on the way, but Zod, our light blue player here, doing a fantastic job of keeping those D-guns up. And for this,
No.
you need to make sure that you've got the economy for the energy. Because if you run out of energy, you very quickly lose that commander.
He's doing really well too. He is using that Centurion while he reclaims, healing it up, and then he'll go back, reclaim a little bit more, then heal up the Centurion again. The Centurion's on
Fantastic to
5
see
kills
him
as well.
using that Centurion as a meat shield and being able to get a bunch of the reclaim as well.
Well, I just looked at his commander, and the commander's up to 31 kills, so it's definitely paid for itself now. If that com went down, the reclaim that it got and the units that it de-gunned and denied the enemy, it's definitely done some good work.
And the other thing is it's keeping that...
and a com goes down right next to him.
Yep, I
Sorry,
can
Tom.
see that yellow player there's... I must be running slightly behind there. I've only just gone down for me now. Where are we looking at economies wise? Looks like blue's still got the advantage for the economy. Running relatively even on energy, but a slight metal advantage as it bounces around, but it seems to be consistently in blue's favour. And we can see that they've probably got the larger share of the map as well. So I'm probably going to expect some T2 coming out relatively soon.
Yeah, we're just
And yet-
about to hit the 9-minute mark.
So I can just see
We're in
that a couple of commanders have just gone down. Whose was that? Light blue. So that was that commander that we were just talking about. Doing a great job, has finally dropped on that front line.
I believe he was at 43 or 44
40 something is plenty of kills to get out of a single unit.
kills at the point of being killed, and he slightly starting to head around the field, it's definitely a good job.
Yeah.
Especially that deep in enemy territory as well.
And once you start getting to T2, commanders become significantly less effective, simply because they turn into much more of a bomb and become more of a tactical, can take out a single large unit sort of force rather than can hold the line against the hordes.
Yeah, I'd be more opportunistic plays for the comm during the T2 phase. It's when the jugs or BHs come out that, you know, that it can become a really good unit again.
Yeah, so we can see some of the T2 economies starting to roll out. I'm looking at the blue side at the moment. We've got purple's got a fusion on the way. We've got a couple of different T2 labs, so they're progressing well. What have we got? And we've also got some T2 coming out on the red side as well. It looks to be orange is doing a decent job of spreading that out and supporting the team. I've seen a couple of instructors come out from him. Purple up on the top side with some nice D guns running incredibly low and going down as well. But it'll be interesting to see if they push through. There's nothing much between where the comm went down and the base.
And they've got a fair force of Centurions, a couple of banged up ones, some Pawns, and now some Ticks running in as well.
Good to see them target
And
that.
it's got a decent
Instructor so that they can't get the reclaim. We can see the
other thing,
hounds from T2, or the T2 hounds for orange coming up. So they should largely be able to stop that push before it makes it all the way back to pink's base.
Yep.
And with the
as long as
pounders
those
there,
hounds don't try and hug the, as long as the hounds don't try and hug those Centurions, they should be fine.
yeah, so they've done a good job there of being able to pull that aggro. So I've noticed with a lot of things, you don't necessarily have to completely stop a push. As long as you can redirect it to start chasing you and attack your units, you can generally try and keep some of the more important things like someone's base alive. It might cost some units.
It's definitely an advantage on a bigger map like this where you have more room to kite around. But if it was on a smaller map, that's where it gets dangerous. You only have a certain amount to kite before you're at your base.
Yeah. So how are we going?
Excuse me.
If we look down on the bottom side, we can see we're at just over 12 minutes now. Pink with some, these are shell shockers, aren't they? Yeah, shell shockers.
Yep.
Raining down on dark green there. It starts getting. I know whenever I end up against shell shockers, you basically have to commit to either pulling back where they can't hit you, or, as we're seeing now, pushing forward with some units so that you get within that arc of fire, and if you can get on top of them, they're generally relatively easy to take out. But any units you do have, you have to make sure you keep them mobile, otherwise they'll fall.
I think when I last looked, dark green down south opposing hot pink had a lot of LLTs down there, like more than I would suggest. And yeah, the shell shockers were definitely the right call because you can just bust those LLTs and then it doesn't matter anymore.
He's getting a bunch of damage on the comm, but I don't reckon he's going to be able to drop it when he's standing within that wall of LLTs and the shell shockers raining down from behind.
Yeah. Like at the moment, I'm not opposed to having those LLTs there for hot pink because they do support his shell shockers. It gives them a safe point to run into with those thugs push. Excuse me.
With the thugs, you have to push into those towers, but when you're defending against shell shockers, your LLTs become relatively useless.
There is a large force of grunts up there, though, just about.
Yeah, that light blue ball of grunts looks posed to push on through shortly.
That could definitely roll through
across the map. Blue seems to have been able to, well, the blue team seems to be able to have held just past the midpoint. So they should be getting the medal advantage. Where are we at with Geos? They've got 2 of the Geos up and running. Red hasn't been able to get a Geo up. So this ball of pawns here, I imagine, is doing a good job of denying that. It looks like there's an LLT for red, so neither side's likely to get this bottom geo up and running anytime soon.
No, unfortunately, it's be a stalemate. I'm looking at blue. The blue player, MVP, is now on 3 T1 bot labs, and he's just pumping out grunts.
And he's got those grunts on, what's that, at least 2 different fronts? Oh no, he's just got a lot of LLTs running through the middle. And he looks to be doing a push into this light yellow player.
Fortunately, Banshee's catching him there, and then a force of brutes with hounds is also coming down to intercept.
Yeah, and those ticks, whilst they'll eat some shots, won't be able to do enough. It's good to see those grunts swinging around.
Ooh, but those ticks land on a comm. Will they stop and kill it? No. They roll past.
Yeah. But
Just past
MVP
15 minutes.
Blue looks like he's going to be able to pretty much get to these wind turbines.
Yeah, those ticks just got in there.
Deal some damage to him. Yep,
Yeah.
and ticks going to the yellow base as well.
Yeah, ticks at the yellow base just popped some wind turbines, but unfortunately they hugged them a little bit too close, so I lost a lot.
Yeah, I've definitely lost a few ticks to destroying things.
Definitely easy to do when you're just clicking around trying to get them to keep moving, and you occasionally click a little bit too close when something goes boom.
The light blue here's pushed over that hill. What's he got? Some grunts chasing away the hounds, and it looks to be a bunch of rocket bots that'll be pushing down as MVPs, just standing in the range of the beamer. Not a bad idea to degun the lab. At this point, you're not going to be able to hold it, so denying that metal's better than leaving it behind for your opponent.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely a decent breakthrough there in the bottom, although Fiends are moving in now in a pretty steady stream.
Yeah, I
and
expect
two comms without much support definitely going to be vulnerable to those Fiends unless they get off some fantastic D-guns.
I expect Hotbank's going to survive this now. The Fiends have largely halted that push, and with those couple of hounds, there's enough firepower to keep things at bay.
Yeah, it's definitely got a steady stream of hounds coming out now. Problem is, they are getting caught by those incisors, and there is enough incisors there to do some decent damage to a hound.
Particularly when you're only fighting one hound at a time, because they're in a line there.
Yeah. Now we've got a big tick ball up the top moving up to move into hot pink space from purple.
Yep, I can see that's just crossed the halfway point now. Good to see them going around the defences. They'll lose some on the way through, but they're largely going to get past that.
Ticks are definitely a unit you don't want to put in a big ball, because it only takes one AoE shot to take out like 15 or so ticks.
Yeah, and we can see that there's a fairly large attrition rate to those as they're coming down.
Yeah.
What's that? The burnt orange comms just...
Ooh, and threw a pounder as well. That was bad.
Yeah, that's... Yep, pounder's definitely hurt. Although, I was going to say good to see them getting some of those chain reactions, but they fell to that chain reaction of the energy converters.
Free converters for that run, really not worth it.
No, and at this point you can largely assume that there's going to be units streaming out from the bases.
If you look to the middle of the map on Orange's side, they're setting up for an air raid. Figs are just passing in to start intercepting. Looks like Black Brown's also got some Figs coming in to support.
Those are just pushing through that halfway point now. Both sides seem to be aware of it and responding.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Fighters have largely made it a dead heat, but those bombers look to be getting through.
Ooh.
Interesting to see where they land. And we're coming in on green, sorry, I should say.
Now, just looking in Green's base, he's half built a nuke. launcher. So that's going to be detected now. So everyone should be popping anti-nukes right now.
Yep, and they can see that APHIS going up and now targeting that. Alright, I expect that the bombers should be coming back around for it. There we go. Now they're targeting that APHIS, and I expect they'll hit a bunch of that build power as well. Which they do, all the build power's down, which is going to make it significantly more challenging to get that back up and running.
And the other thing too is they finish that APHIS off while it's under construction. All the metal invested into it is lost. So it's not like blowing up an APHIS and having the wreckage there where you can res it. It's just completely gone into the void.
And the last of those bombers going down now. So, didn't quite get the big juicy economy, but definitely put a dent in that build power and some of those wind farms.
I think scouting that nuke as well was very important because they only had 2 anti-nukes up at the time the nuke was being scouted, but if you look on the map... And you can
see there's now anti-nukes pretty much across the board.
Yeah, and they're pinging their last player to get that anti-nuke up.
Solid ball of ticks from that light green player. Kind of middle of the map there. Looks to be hiding at the moment. Ooh, Fiend's coming in, which should be able to do plenty of damage to them. And they're on the move.
Fiends and Sheldon's in their path. Let's see if they can make a dent.
If they can get past the Fiends, they should be able to make work of the Sheldons.
They're heading down to Dark Brown's base by the looks of it.
Looks like they should be able to get to some of those wind farms, but they shouldn't do too much more than just the one bank. No.
If you look up to the north of the map, purple and blue are pushing in a mix of tick. Yeah, there's some starlights in there as well. Jammer, radar, brutes, jaguars.
Yeah, this is a strong push coming through. Hounds on the bottom side of that as well.
A lot of spam to support those starlights and flak trucks there to defend them as well. So this could be a decisive blow here.
Yeah, they can see where those bases are, and most of those bases have been scouted just looking at the player views. That commander's just gone down.
There is a few Tigers to stand in the way, but against this sort of firepower and just overwhelming
I expect
numbers,
the Tigers will take out the ticks, but not too much more at this stage.
Yeah. Once those starlights start pinging away, it's going to be the end of those. There we go. Looks like Pink's base is going to be a reclaim pile in about 20 seconds.
Yep, so everything's now on that Pink base from what I can see. The lab's just gone down and the last of the wind farms falling as well. And that is the last of the Pink base. Dead.
Looks like Cream is next on the menu.
Yep, and based on what's there and streaming down, I expect they should be able to clean that up as well. You can see that the economy is definitely in favour of blue at the moment, an extra 25% on the metal. And I expect that to climb with these bases going down.
Yeah, 2 bases down now, so I'm getting pretty hectic.
And there's nothing swinging up, so I expect this is going to continue on down. Good to see the T1 in the front tanking the shots from the few defences that are available.
You can see that Razorback trying to engage though. It's not going to do too well against 4 starlights. 5th one rolling into range.
Ooh, that base has just gone boom. Yeah, while the T3 is useful, when you're up against that solid stream of T1 in front of T2, there's not too much you can do without having multiple units to defend.
What I would like to have seen with that Razorback was tick spam going with it. Like I can see some tick spam coming out of what was Yellow's base. He could have sent that up to at least give the Razorback a little bit of a chance versus those starlights.
And you can see pressures starting to come in from that green player through the middle as well. So, and that's the vote passed for the end of the game.
Yep, blue team victory. I loved that push at the end. That was just fantastic from those 3 players, combining forces and just mixing their units together to cover all fields, flak trucks, starlights for that range punch, and then just a shitload of spam to say, get the fuck away from our starlights.
Yeah, having that
was
spam
really
in
good.
front to tank for your starlights is always a great idea. Because it's much easier to tank with cheap units than big beefy ones. And you can definitely see, for purple, that huge damage dealt spike at the end there.
Probably the play of the game for me, though, was Commander Zod's commander sitting there at the front line at about 7 minutes in the enemy's side of the map, just degunning the crap out of everything and reclaiming for a while. He held on there for a couple of good minutes.
Yeah, longer than I would have expected a commander to survive behind enemy lines.
Yeah, no, he did some fancy dancing there.
It was fantastic to see. And I think on that note, we will wrap that up there.
Yep.
So, special thanks to MVP for sending through the replay so that we could cast this game. And if you do have an interesting game, feel free to drop it off in the Discord and like and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you in one of the streams.
Don't forget to leave us a comment. Jump on the Discord if you want to join in some of our streams. We do streams 3 times a week. Sunday we typically do some more interesting plays, King of the Hill at the moment, so feel free to come in and join us.
And we'll catch you guys around. See ya.
Have a good one.